what is it that makes an encounter good? In this series, we're going to talk about building encounters, whether it's a social encounter, an exploration encounter, or of course, combat encounters. This is going to eventually branch into designing dungeons that will also go hand in hand with the encounters, but we'll get to that later. The first step to building good encounters is knowing what kind of encounters your party enjoys. Do they like nitty-gritty? Do they like multifaceted encounters? Do they like just hitting really hard and killing the monsters, and that's all they're interested in? The question of knowing what your players want at the table has to be the starting point, because it doesn't really matter how gritty, mechanical, or dynamic an encounter is if your players just don't enjoy that style of gaming. So all things being considered, the encounter should be fun, and fun is subjective. So you need to know what your players like. So think back on all of your sessions before we get started with this series and isolate what it is about the encounters that your players have enjoyed. That is your starting place. Now, all that being said, through this series, we're going to cover a lot of different topics, including, but not limited to, the parts of the encounters, the types of encounters, the goals for the encounter, whether for the players or the enemies, adjusting the difficulty of the encounters, which is probably the hardest part, and a lot more. So strap in, that's our next topics.